What's up, gang? It's your boy, Andrew T, here with my boy Dostop. I clearly,
Hey.
yeah, I'm like missing my voice right now. Miya was just way too hype to watch, and I had to cheer him on. No, but for real
That's
though,
crazy. They got you into being a Game & Watch fan.
no, that was definitely my okay. There's actually a funny story around it, but let me hit the intro first. Off goat, Abe. That's right, off goat. We're back from SuperNova. What a banger tournament. I hope everyone had fun watching it. I know being at the event was super hype, as SuperNova or SmashCon always is. Quick shout out to Abe, Roots, and Anthran. I think they were a big part of the weekend for me. We all had fun. Same with ATATA. I think there's a bunch of other people. I met like so many people this year. And regardless of my bracket performance, it was a successful weekend. I thought it was like so much fun and it was very productive. But yeah, Doorstop sat this one out, so I'll let him tell you what he was doing this week.
My voice is intact. I was not at SmashCon. I did want to be, but some crazy things like work, and also like I really wanted to give myself a break. I don't think forcing myself to go to SuperNova would have been a good idea. And instead, there was a local Pokemon tournament. It's called Double Header, which is when they do two Pokemon tournaments back to back in the same venue, and they're both worth like championship points. And it was a really good tournament for me. I brought some team I didn't have a ton of experience with, and I loved it. I got first and second at the two tournaments back to back. The only people who got me were like really good. Yeah, I don't know. I had a good time playing. Pokemon. I didn't get to watch a ton of Saturday stuff, even though some crazy things went down. But I did watch all of like Melee on Sunday. I watched all of Ultimate on Sunday, most of Melee, all of Ultimate. And I still caught a lot of the big moments near the end of Saturday, especially. And yeah, I was keeping up to date. Wish I was there to hang out with some of y'all, but it wasn't a bad weekend on my end. So
yeah, there were so many storylines. Like, I know it's like so cliche to say, but like SuperNova, there were so many sets that could have been grands of any major that happened. And so many sets that like the players might not have been players who really like, I guess, make it to grands often, but they felt like grand finals sets. Like, I think every set Akala had, he was taking game 5 like 3 or 4 back-to-back sets in a row with like the Buzz, Leo, Mars. Like it was insane. And I think like we could touch more on like the individual sets later, but I thought Leo versus Luigi was also a banger. Like,
yeah, that's the one I did catch. It was near the end of
dude.
yeah.
Like Europe is definitely like they up their game. I know it's like Luigi, whatever. Nobody really likes fighting Luigi, but like that dude wanted to win, and you could tell.
The craziest part is I specifically tuned into that set. Like that was the first set I pulled up, and I started when Leo was down 2-0. And so I didn't even see how he got to the situation. But when I like started watching, honestly, watching like Leo bring that back was so like surgical. That's like the best way I could describe like how he played that. As a Zero Suit, like I kind of appreciate a lot of like what Joker does. I think there's a lot of similar like logic, and like the movement where he found time to shoot like guns and shoot like sneak in like Agons. I think in particular, like while Lugi's trying to like use get like certain approaches in or use fireballs, like he was able to sneak in like so much damage from afar, and was just so good. Like he started like figuring out where Lugi liked to grab him. It was fantastic. Like I enjoyed watching that set a ton. That was probably one of my favorite moments of watching, and I'm really glad I got to tune in for the second half. I think that was I heard that there was taunting going on.
I only saw it once. But still, like, I think I was money matching DK Will. Also, shout outs to him. I feel like I'll be shouting out a ton of people, but DK Will is like one of the coolest people, period. Like, we're money matching, because I got upset by a heavies player. So We money matched like 3 or 4 sets, and we talked a little bit about like content and stuff too. He was just super optimistic, super positive about like everything, and even though I would ladder him at like 20% every stock, like he was so chill about it, and he was like trying to dissect, like he was trying to SDI all my up airs. He was asking me a ton of questions, like very productive. But I look over, I see Leo's down 2-0, and I'm like, well, that's the end of our GOAT. And then, you know, I look back up. The next thing I see is the whole edge guard sequence of like him air dodging to the ledge and then just down airing Luigi.
Yeah.
I was like, no way he like how
he brought that back.
Yeah, I feel like being down against Luigi, whether it's like down in games or just in like percent, like stocks or anything, like making comebacks it's so hard. It's so tilting. It's
so demoralizing sometimes.
Yeah. Like touch of death characters are a problem mentally, but
without a doubt.
Yeah. So that was pretty hype. I do really like seeing like Europe do well. I think like we mention it here and there, but Europe has gotten so much better, and like they're competing on the like with our best players, like straight up. And it was just really cool to see. Like I know Lugi's been doing really well in Europe, but we've never really seen him pop off at like a major, like in like out of region, I guess. But I think we should probably go into like Zero Suit stuff first, and then we could talk about like the more exciting, like, you know, we could lead into like Mars, Aquila, stuff like that. So
I won't lie, I feel like this podcast has like kind of been like those accounts like you remember like those accounts like when Metroid Prime was like waiting room accounts where everyone's like day 1433 with no news or something. I feel like that's what this podcast has been to a certain extent with Zero Suit news. We're like really scraping to find anything. Like half the shit we're talking about is our own tournament performances.
Yeah.
But we have news.
We have a lot. Oh my
Zero Suit actually did something.
Yes.
And so I wish I got to see. I don't think Mars Miya was streamed, right?
EE streamed it on his stream.
Okay, that's good. At least somewhere it's preserved.
It's actually funny because I was watching it a little bit earlier. Mars, so he was up 2-0 on the Game & Watch, and Miya went Steve. And EE, he was like, Miya, why you scared, bro? Why you scared? Like right after he switched to Steve. And like he was right behind both of them. And like, I don't know, that'd be so tilting though.
I mean, like, does he like how good is his English? Does he even like understand what
okay, that's actually it's really funny to ask that. So I went up to him. So he had fought Beast Mode Paul, and I'm sure you heard about that set. So before that, I was hanging with Abe, the GOAT, by the way. So I was hanging with him, and I saw Miya. I'm like I think Miya is like cool because you could tell he is that good, and like Game & Watch is definitely a good bracket character, but he like the fact that he beats Aquila like semi-consistent, like, you know, they're back and forth and stuff. Nobody else does that besides like Spargo and Sonix, but I think Miya works really hard, and I respect him as a player.
And I think he's really passionate. Like I think like it's so like I think like especially like the language barrier, it's so difficult like sometimes to tell. Like I always like wanted to know like does Asimo talk shit or something? Like I want to know like what the personalities of some of these Japanese players are. But it's like hard to get that across the language barrier, right? Without like understanding it. Without like hearing Miya speak a single word in English ever, I can tell that this guy cares so much about being the best player in the world. And that is so sick. It's so sick to care, dude. I love people who care. Yeah. And so like as I watch like Miya, like I can see someone who has put in like so much like blood and sweat into this to like make this like happen, and is so important to him. And like I don't like love like watching Game & Watch, and like obviously there's like a lot of like really like exclusive, unique, not like I think Game & Watch is one of those characters where it's generally hard to tell who's playing him. Like if you like took the names off, everyone can tell when Miya's playing. Like it's really, really, really obvious like how much quicker he is than all the other ones, and how like perfected his flowchart is. And that like I think like those attributes, like I'm not cheering for Miya off him because he's generally not like my preferred player to win, but I respect him so much. Like I cannot, I like that's one of the people where like there's nothing that anyone can like give me to do. Like I don't care how like stupid it looks like what he's doing. He's working.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like he rarely like puts on any act either. I know like Japanese players, like they can have a personality and they're usually not trying to be someone they're not. But although I don't know because I don't speak Japanese, but like Miya, you could tell he's just like the passion comes through in his personality, how he reacts and how like even how he tweets. Like he was like, Zero Suit is strong, I will get better. Or he's like, you know, I may have hit 3 side Bs against Sonix in the last 15 seconds, but it, you know, I need to get better at my up smashes. Like, I don't know, it's just weird. But so I went up to him and I asked him for a picture. I don't think he knew what I said, but I held up my phone like, can I get a picture? And then I just like stood next to him and, you know, we got that picture and he was like, I guess he
awesome.
figured it out. Yeah. So then later when he was fighting Beast Mode Paul, everybody was watching. Like this was the second biggest stage. There was like 3 stages. This one had like, it wasn't the mainstream, but it was like a big projector. Everybody in the venue was watching and he was down 2-0 and everyone's like, oh my gosh, like Mia's about to lose to Beast Mode Paul, which Beast Mode Paul played amazing. Like that dude, he got some wax and he got some RNG, whatever, but I don't think that's very easy to do against like Miya, especially. Like even if you're getting that,
there's a reason why there's no other heroes doing it like him.
Yeah, exactly. And so that set, you know, it was kind of depressing because everyone was quiet like the entirety of the reverse 3-0 sweep. And after the set, since I had that picture of Miya, I was like, off goat. Off goat. Everybody, get out of here, So I posted that picture. I'm like, off goat. And then, you know, the rest of the weekend, I was like hanging out with like Roots, Abe, and ATATA, and off goat is now like permanently part of my vocabulary. And then it like devolved into, you know, are you like, if someone says off goat, you call them a glazer.
Oh yeah. So, oh dude, we've been on in Cincinnati. We've been on glazer for a while.
Yeah. So
we've had the glazing is like a core part of Cincinnati terminology. This point.
Yeah. So it's like the option select. If anybody says anything about any other person, like good or bad, you have something to say. Like off goat. But yeah, I guess we'll stick to the Zero Suit stuff for now. I think I actually don't know much about besides Shu losing to Straw Hat Kid.
Yep.
You know,
that actually happened.
Yeah, Straw Hat Kid.
Oh, I actually
beat Shu.
I didn't know about that. But...
Yeah, so that was, you know, big props to Straw Hat Kid. I know that he works super hard too. I know he's a studier, and he was practicing a lot. I know he was asking like Goblin for help, and Goblin was, you know, down for that stuff. But yeah, big props to him. And I don't know who Shu lost to in losers. But
this doesn't bode well for me. I'm already have a terrible streak against Pac-Man this year. It's not getting better for the Zero Suits in this one.
Yeah. I think it was definitely like winnable both ways. Like it was a tight set. And what other Zero Suits? Like I don't know if really any did much besides Mars. I know I had a pretty rough bracket. You know, Phantom, the DK Steve went Steve. Definitely a mix of like I'm not going to come up with any excuses or whatever. I definitely want to work on playing in bracket again. Because I was a little bit nervous, less confident than I wish I was. But I think it kind of showed, and then just fought some good bracket characters, which was rough. But I think my experience for me, like I've money matched so many people. Like I got hella experience against, like, you know, I played Send, I got to fight against Soar the Steve, and luckily I had just watched Mars fight both Onin and Akala, so there's a lot of things that I like took from those sets. And it's like he plays, remember how we were like discussing just how to fight Steve? Like he was doing it, but doing it like better than I even imagined possible. Like he was I think
game 4 of Akala Mars was genuinely perfect anti-Steve gameplay from Zero Suit. It made me so sad that he like lost that set, because I think like for one thing, I think he very realistically could have won game 1 if he just didn't like throw away his stock for no reason. He just like me for real. But like, so apart from the fact that he probably shouldn't have been down 2-0 in the first place, like game 2 I think it was just kind of rough in general. And honestly game 3 is a little tight as well. But game 4, like, he clearly was back on it, and he was playing the matchup so well. Even the ways that, like, he did, like, some, like, high nairs to hit, like, minecart.
Yeah.
I didn't know that nair beat minecart. And I was like, this is really cool, because one of the problems is that we don't have a lot of great moves to hit minecart and beat minecart. They don't trade with it super easily. Like, we can back air a lot of the time, but as shown also in that set, sometimes you trade with minecart and it's not a great trade.
Yeah.
And so, but if you use nair, you can actually just beat it while he's spawning it, which is, that's actually super interesting to me. I like fighting Steve like a good amount. I think I'm pretty good at it for the most part. But I like have like on days and off days, but that was like some cool stuff. Like, it was, and apart from, like, yeah, he just was moving around it so well. And then I knew, like, game 5 was going to be harder than game 4. I think Akola really, like, locks into like the block wall strategies in general on game 5. So I think it's just something he does, and that's like really honing in on that's going to be harder for Zero Suit to do, like, deal with always. I think, like, Zero Suit's biggest problem in the matchup is how she deals with blocks.
Yeah.
And like, I knew Akola was going to lean like really, really hard into that, but like Mars was doing fine, but it's just, like, a lot of times, like, versus Steve, you're doing fine, and then one thing goes wrong and it's all gone.
Yeah.
And it was like, man. Also, his shield getting broken at near like full health by an anvil. Like, Akola missed he missed a footstool anvil at a shield. He tried to do it on Zair. It's not even a true punish. Mars shielded it, and his shield just still got broken anyway.
There's one thing I wanted to mention about fighting Steve. So I was watching, and Mars had some confirms where he hit Steve, but crafting table was behind him, and it like the hit pause extended, so it either eats his inputs or just, like, messes with the timing. So, like, that's low-key relevant though. Like, if he's in the corner, if he has like a block wall and he gets hit, like, it's like flip a coin. Do you hit the crafting table and, like, not have combos anymore?
No, Zero Suit's combos all barely work anyway. Like, I'm not even like exaggerating it. Like, Zero Suit stuff is all really tight.
Yeah.
And so very slight things screwing it up are like huge deals. Like, that can make like a lot of things not work. And Mars in general, I think, was playing really conservatively with his combos, which I think is the right approach to take. I don't think you should go for anything you think might not be true, because getting reversal by Steve is quite literally the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
So
I noticed there were some times where Mars had, like, he would hit like a Zair, but he, like, was super respecting everything. Like, if it was even close to not being like a true combo or anything, he was like,
he would like sometimes just back. Like Zair.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, I don't even want to like try and dash attack, which is generally like the most conservative combo you can go for off of Zair. He wasn't even like taking that risk. He was like, I'm gonna just Zair dash attack.
Yeah.
Or like Zair instead, or something like that. And there's a couple, like, he had so many good tech reads, but he pulled the trigger early because he wasn't sure if Steve was at a tumble or not, and so he didn't want to like be charging down smash on a tech read only to watch Akola jump away.
Yeah.
And then like anvil him or something as he's charging a down smash. So he would pull the trigger early because he would like lose like a little bit of confidence on it. And like Akola very clearly just tech straight into where he was charging the down smash anyway. And I was like, no.
Yeah, I think minecart, like, if they DI up in minecart but you committed to down smash, you're just cooked. Like, getting tech chases against like really good players, it's like hard. If you try to read it, you just get hit. Depending on the character. But yeah, I thought that, like, Mars was moving so well. It was so cool to see. And he was playing the game at a super fast pace. And you had mentioned before that, I forget what character it is, where they put you in a lot of quick interactions that, like, aren't necessarily true, but, they're good because they just reset it so quickly. And it's like, you can't react to everything. I feel like Mars was almost playing like that. He's playing in that mid-range, able to react to everything, but also, like, he's so threatening at that distance. And
I will say, Mars Nicole is the only set that I've watched, and I was a little worried about it. I was like, I actually want to watch the sets earlier, because generally when Mars is playing really well, he looks like a complete alien to me. Like, I just genuinely just, like, do not comprehend the things going on in his mind, and I know that's part of why it works, is that the opponent probably isn't comprehending it either. But I actually thought watching him versus Akola, he made a ton of sense. Like I could actually see like so much of his thought process, which to be fair, just could be like me knowing a lot about Steve and also him knowing a lot about Steve. So actually, a lot of our ideas are lining up. But I also get worried whenever I watch Mars and he makes sense. I'm like, oh, this might not be a good day.
Yeah,
that means he's playing down to my level.
Yeah, but he was definitely really disciplined though. Like he was playing patient, but also really fast.
Yes.
Like you just never knew. Like you can't know what's gonna happen next, basically. But I wanted to note that in the Miya set, he was hitting Zair boost kick a fair amount. Like he did like Zair jump boost kick at one point, but I think he won one of the games with just like Zair boost kick on the ground.
Oh yeah, someone I think Ike DM'd me about it. It's like, yo, is Zair boost kick a thing? And I'm like, brother, I'm. Real ones know that I was there boost kicking in Smash 4 when it was a one frame combo.
Yup. And another thing about Mars fighting Miya, every up B that Miya did, like every time you did up B, he's up there like instantly.
And, up B. Like you just like up air, right?
Yeah. And there was another thing about that set that I wanted to point out. So you know how Mars will flip kick neutral get up? Like,
yeah.
He just does that. So I kind of saw his thought process where he flip kicked it the one time, he went for it again, but like Miya shielded it. Then the next time he just like flip jumped and grabbed. Like obviously you're gonna shield there because you don't want to die.
Yeah.
You know, Game & Watch at the ledge and flip kick super strong. So there was like some really interesting like set play that Mars has. And they were like hard reads too. It was like really cool to see. But
so I'm glad Two Papa's back in Ohio because I don't know if he hasn't been going to weeklies regularly, but I know he's back in Ohio. But I need him to start going weeklies again because I have a serious like failing of mine is I still have not figured out when how to hit Game & Watch's neutral get up animation. It's like the biggest thing holding me back in that animation. And like a Game & Watch neutral get ups against me every single time they're getting away with it. I'm not down smashing that. I don't understand when it starts and when it ends. And I was like, I need to learn that. And I certainly would not have the confidence to go for the flip kick. Like in general, I'm really bad at like hitting the flip kick neutral get ups like Mars anyway. It's just like a thing that like it logically makes sense to me, but it never really quite clicked in my gameplay yet. But I actually do really like the bluff it and go for the grab instead. I like it versus people who actually like know the matchup a lot. Like it's actually something I remember I've done to Mute a few times because I know Mute knows that Mars does that, and Mute will be like ready to shield that because he's expecting it. But yeah, it's a really good thing to do against someone who knows the matchup.
I definitely think like Mars, he wasn't really like down smashing the ledge ever either. I think he just played that distance and did not let Miya take any space at all. I think you should definitely watch it though when you have time. It was like
I want to,
a very productive set, and his punishes were crazy. Like I think overall he hit so many back airs, like so many important back airs all day between Aquila, Onin, like especially Onin and Miya. So definitely, he was definitely playing hot. And
was him and Onin also game 5?
Yeah, super last hit.
How did a set versus Spargo go? I heard a lot of people talking about it like it was actually like kind of close. Normally, I would just assume that's a terrible draw for him.
Yeah, he got 3-0'd. I didn't watch that at all. I didn't really get a chance, but I just know it was a 3-0, and it was all Cloud Zero Suit, I think. Who else did Mars play?
Yeah, we could pull up his bracket. I only knew about the Spargo, Onin, Miya, and Akola sets. But
Mars beat Siski as well.
Oh yeah, I actually did know about that. I remember watching the clip on Twitter. I actually think Samus is like, well, Samus I think is a good matchup for us. I actually think it's like one of the harder ones for Mars a lot of the time. I know he doesn't like playing it, which I mean, I'll be real, I don't like love playing it either. I can say that I was a little shocked that it was like, it looked pretty tight for a 3-1. And it's been a while since like I played Siski in friendlies, but I can say that the first time I played Siski in friendlies, I don't think he had ever seen a Zero Suit before in his entire life.
Yeah.
And I won't lie, I have a abnormal amount of confidence whenever I'm up against any European player because of how how those games went.
Yeah.
I remember vividly, like, when I fought like Tarek at Big House, I'm like, this matchup's actually like kind of annoying, and this is like a really good player, and I'm like kind of scared of him, but like he's European, he's never seen a Zero Suit before in his entire life. Like, but yeah, that was like kind of, and that impression came from at the time I played Siski, because I was like, oh gosh, this guy has no idea what to do here. But I'm sure he's improved a lot about it in this time. Siski's good.
Yeah, I think it was around the time that you played him. I got to play him too, and I could tell he was just like Zero Suit was so foreign to him. And I mean, he clearly has worked on it though, because he's gotten better at it.
Yeah, of course.
But,
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even hear much about like there's so many players here that are really good that I just didn't hear anything about, like T, even Siski, like who else? Light especially. What did he get? 17th, I think.
Wasn't his like losses like not even bad? Like it was like Sonix and losers. Who got him in winners?
He lost to double Sonic. And you know how confident he is against Sonic.
Yeah. I mean, that's tough, because I personally like to believe in the future of Ultimate, if it's going to have one, involves one where at least a couple people are pretty consistently beating Sonic.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, that is not looking to be the case, since Light's like probably was one of the strongest soldiers there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The Sonic players work really hard and they figure that stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that shocked me about this tournament is like whenever I like heard about the upsets, like I remember hearing, oh, Akola lost to Yoshidora. That's like surprising, but not insanely surprising, right? Like they have like a bajillion close sets. Yoshi's known to be one of the better characters against Steve.
Yeah.
This isn't like super shocking. And then I'm like, Akola had to beat DeBuzz and had to beat Mars, and also had to beat MK Leo to make top 8 in losers. And I'm like, wait, so that means Yoshidora played him where?
Yeah.
And I was like, that was a top 24 winners set? What was this tournament? Like most Japanese majors, that's like a winner semis to be seeded, right?
Yeah.
Like that's wild. And I'm like thinking about it, it's like I know the rankings are a little different from like last time I've been super active, but like yeah, just the idea of like that had to have been seeded to happen. Akola and Yoshidora for top 24 winners, where the loser of that would have to play 3 more sets to make top 8.
Yeah.
And like so much of the bracket was like that. Like Miya and Spargo would have been like a winner's quarters match, which is like we like referred to them as like 2 of the 4 horsemen of like the best, right? Like and they would have been seeded in winner's quarters against each other, which means Spargo's like the 8th seed, right?
Yeah, he
going in.
I think it was around there. I'm actually. Yeah, he would have been.
Yeah.
Because. Yeah, he fought Mars for top 8
quarters. Yeah.
So. Yeah. That is like crazy to think that like Spargo was the one that made it through winners. Of the 4 of them, like obviously Miya got what 17th.
Yes, I think so.
Wait, no, he got 13th. He lost to Sonix.
Gotcha.
Then, Sonic. We'll get to Sonix's run in a minute, because that is like the probably best run of like I don't know, probably the year. I think his losers run was insane, but
I genuinely think like I enjoy watching Sonix a lot. It's like, you know, a lot of people are like crazy about me for this. I think Sonix has like, in the absence of a lot of Zero Suit VODs until recently, I think Sonix is like incredibly instructional on how to play a fast character that's precise. And I don't necessarily think Sonic's precise, but I think Sonix is. And I greatly like appreciate that, and I think like a lot of like the mindset stuff transferable. And I just have so much respect for Sonix. I think that guy is like genuinely generational talent. And this isn't even the first time he's been on an insane losers run before. But like how nuts it was, like maybe like I was rooting for Spargo. I'm like, I also really enjoy Spargo, but like a huge part of me wanted Sonix to win just to do it.
Oh yeah.
Like, I like So he had in his losers that I know of, he had Miya, he had um Miya, he had Light. So Light was for the 17th, Miya was for 13th. For 9th, it was Tweak, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then for 7th, it was Akola. For 5th, it was
Raru.
Raru, which we should talk about Raru in a second
Oh
too.
yeah.
And then 4th, it was Asimo. And then 3rd, it was Shattuck.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that was over half the top 10 right there, right?
Yeah, literally.
Like, over half of the top 10. And not just like an outdated top 10, like the very recent
literally
top 10.
that weekend came out top 10.
Like, and he just shambled through all of them, which is like, I think only one of the sets was even game 5.
Yeah.
I think Miya was game 5. And I was like, that is such a nutty run. And that I don't know if we have anything comparable like that since like maybe like the only run I can even think about like that is like Nairo's SmashCon 2017 run, I think.
Leo's Evo run.
But I don't remember Leo's Evo.
He got
like Evo run.
Or the Frostbite run.
The Frostbite run was pretty good.
No, his Evo run, I think he beat like pretty much the same amount of like top 10 players, and then that was when he fought Tweak at.
I remember the finals better than I remember the tournament of Evo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tweak losing was that I don't remember Evo as positively as everybody else. Tweak losing broke my heart.
Yeah.
That hurt. It was such a fantastic grand finals, but man, Tweak losing was like but
yeah, Spargo being ranked 9th and then winning this entire thing like almost uncontested. Sonix went game 5. Did he have any close sets at all?
It was just Miya, Sonix was game 5. He dropped 4 games the whole tournament. One was to Hurt, and I think one was to Syrup.
That is insane.
Yeah, and like just the fact that he beat Hurt too, like Hurt's like probably one of the worst draws in the world for him. Snake is just a traditionally very like good character against like big swords, and like struggle, like that's like a struggle matchup, and Spargo didn't just beat him, he kind of like
shambled.
It was pretty bad. It was a 3-1, but the games that were won were not that close.
Yeah.
And like ending it in the finishing touch, that was just completely necessary. It was just a bonkers read on his landing. Yeah, it was like it was a statement win, like even for a 3-1.
I think we should also mention the fact that Spargo played 3 different characters, and they were all essential for this run. Like 3-0'd Ken with Aegis, all Cloud other than that except for the Grands with Roy, which is cool. That's really cool. Like we love seeing characters like that do well in this meta.
No, Roy's spawning in, so I was like hanging out with like a lot of the Cincinnati crowd, and there's a lot of Crom and Roy players there in that group, and they were all losing their minds when Roy got brought out. They were like, "Oh my gosh, dude!" The tweets about like, "Guys, Roy can win a major." I'm like,
yeah.
Okay, so I'm not like a Roy down player. Like I wouldn't like. I don't think the character's like. I don't think Roy's great, but I also don't think he's like as bad as like a lot of like maybe like Roy players say he is.
Yeah.
But like. Roy did not win a major. Roy won 4 games in a major in a decent matchup for him.
Yup.
Like there's a reason why the Roy was not out against Hurt. Let's be real. Like,
that's true. That is very true.
If that Roy beat Hurt, then Roy can win a major.
Yep.
There's a big difference. Cloud with the help of Roy and Aegis can win a major, is what we learned.
Yeah. Like they are all sword characters. They all function differently, but like the fact that you could do that with 3 characters, like you could tell he grinded specific things, but like it just doesn't matter who you are. Spargo's just gonna beat you if he's prepared. And
his ledge trapping was incredible.
Yeah, and there was something I wanted to bring up when Kola was fighting Raru. Did you see that at all?
I did not. All I know about Kola this tournament is I think he played Onin and it wasn't pretty.
Yeah, so before that, I think let's give him some props for being down 2-0 against Raru switching to Aegis, making it
as he did versus Wilds. He did this
yes,
to the Wild
yep,
Genesis.
made it all the way to game 5, but then he lost. But everybody was hype about it, and he almost reversed 3-stocked to win game 5 as well, which like Cola mentally is like when he's there, like you are not ever safe, like no matter how big of a lead you have.
Yeah,
which, like it's just so cool seeing that stuff in person, seeing it like even on stream, like these storylines that happen when like Cola probably didn't do as well as, you know, he got what 17th I think, but still like his run is worth noting. I think all these players in top 24 did something like absolutely amazing to get there.
Yeah,
I was really surprised.
mention that Geist was in the top 24.
Exactly, Geist.
Ohio made it in with an incredible run. Like not easy matchups for him in the slightest. Waluigi, like his snake, that was scary. I know is one of them. Lost to Yoshidora. I know Anthony beat Jackal. Who are some of the other players? Almost beat Osimo. It was game 5, I think.
One bad tech option.
Yeah.
He beat Wilds. He beat
Wilds is just huge. I think it's the first time he's done it.
He beat Isaiah the Pac-Man.
Which I heard Isaiah made a big upset. It was Mutace, right?
Yep, Mutace, and then yeah.
People were flaming me for losing to this Pac-Man at Full Bloom. This was the Pac-Man I had to play the first round of top 64 at Full Bloom. I lost to him, and people were flaming me for it. This guy was nuts. Like I did, like when I like showed up. I've told you about like how Full Bloom, like day 1 was rough. I had like no sleep the entire day, and I was just happy to be in day 2. And then day 2, I woke up so excited to play Smash. I pull up to like I drove there and drove back like both days. And on day 2, I pull up. I immediately sit down to play Pac-Man, and I'm just getting like bodied. I'm like, wait, what? I was so excited to play. What's happening?
Yeah.
I almost reverse 3'd him like in that set, but like I was losing and I wasn't getting like Pac-Man. I was just getting better played.
Yeah.
I vividly remember that. I was like, wait, this guy's just like calling me on everything. Yeah, Isaiah's incredible. I believe he's Kansas City. And I like people were like giving me shit about losing to this guy, and I was like, I've felt like, you know, like gimmicked by Pac-Man before. That was not what happened there. He's like, Isaiah's really good. Obviously, I'm always like I have so much respect for me, and I'm always a little surprised when someone beats him, but like I wasn't that surprised. That Isaiah can make big upsets and got really far. Like Anthony's incredible versus Pac-Man, so
yeah.
I think like it doesn't surprise me a ton that he beat him, but like the fact that Isaiah's there, I think a lot of people don't know that name, and I hope they do now.
Yeah.
He's a very, very good player, and yeah. Oh, the whole ouch thing too. What actually happened with that?
So
like, what's the insider details here? Because I only have like a few tweets describing it, so I have a general idea, but I don't want to like spread rumors that aren't true.
Yeah, I like from what I heard, it was just that he tried to replace someone in a doubles team for like Brawl or Smash 4 or something, and then they just did it without asking the TO. Like Ouch joined the team because that person, the other person's teammate, didn't show up or something, and then they just did it without asking, and then. It depends how controversial you want to be, if you want me to share my opinion on it. But
so I saw the Raffle Fox tweet about like, don't fuck with me, I am all powerful.
Yeah.
Like, I have an opinion, and I'm not afraid to share it. I just want to make sure the information's correct, so I will hear yours first because you probably have a more informed one. But from the things that I got. That I did know going into this, I have a very set opinion that I like you can probably guess.
Oh, was it just a different tag, or was it like a whole different player? I thought it was like a whole different player, because if you had a different tag for that event, you would have to like register twice, right? Like you can't have 2 separate tags for games. I don't know. Regardless, like it doesn't really change the fact that like while TOs do have the power to run the event how they want, I don't think it's a good look to be like you can make executive decisions. You're allowed to do that. But then after, when you're gassing yourself and taking pride at the fact that you are doing something like that, I think that is not a good look at all. And you know,
my opinion, Raffle Fox was way too excited to ruin someone's weekend.
Yes.
I don't think decisions like that are ones that TOs should be excited about. I think those should be ones that TOs are really like. That's like a shitty situation, right? Like you don't want to be a TO and like bring a whole bunch of like super huge talent out to your event. Even just like anyone who traveled and spent absurd amounts of money to get to that tournament. Like majors are not cheap. Like a lot of money was spent to get there. And whether or not even the decision of like DQing them from the entire tournament over a side event in a side event.
Yep.
Not just like not a main event thing. You DQ them for the whole tournament. And then also like I like because this person did something they probably shouldn't have, and here I'm going to just completely ruin like all travel plans that they had, damage their shot at the rankings for the year.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they weren't someone that had shots for that, it's just someone who dropped at least $500.
Yeah.
And in the case of traveling from Canada, probably closer to 1,000,
mm-hmm.
right? Like to get to your tournament, and you were just way too excited to just completely take them out.
Like it's a different story if this is a like repeated action that Ouch does. Like, you know, he's trying to manipulate in some way. But like there has to be some logic of like, if you don't know his intentions, it was a mistake. He should have done this, right? Ban him or like, you know, DQ him from that bracket. And if it happens again, take further action. Like, this should not be a power trip, and it should not, like, come down to, you know, someone basically wanting to, like, show off. Like, it was, like, I don't like it. I'll be right back. I'm going to the bathroom.
Yeah. I'll answer some chat questions in the meantime.
Talk to chat. Give us questions.
Do I like the Spargo Roy? I liked it a lot. I think it was like very clearly not a Roy mains Roy. Like sometimes you can just tell. Sometimes you can just tell like when someone's like playing a character and this is not their main, and that like Spargo was a lot more focused on like getting his advantages from ledge trapping, which I think is a lot more traditional sortie. Whereas I think Roy players try to get a lot of their damage out of neutral. Like they try to get like really greedy hits in neutral, really up close, like pressure sequences. Whereas I think like Spargo in general, like Spargo was getting that stuff, but I think he was like a lot slower. And also sometimes he was missing some jairs, which is like kind of funny to be like, that's like the problem his Roy had. But honestly, it was an incredible Roy. I don't think any Roy player like looked at that and was like, there's nothing I can learn here. Or this isn't one of the best Roys in the world. I think it's very clearly Spargo is one of the best Roys in the world just off of those 4 games. And I just also don't think it's necessarily like a Roy player's Roy. Someone from the region said he just tried to sub for someone not registered under a different tag. That's from what I understood. Is that he was subbing in for someone who didn't show up, and it was a side event of a side event. Like from what I understand, like Smash 4 doubles or Brawl doubles or something like that. And like and then the whole like event TO like in the tweet. If nothing else, like I can say for certain about the whole like Ouch situation is that making that tweet, regardless of what the rulebook, like maybe he was just following the rulebook and like that is like a specific thing in there, like that is the punishment for that, and maybe like keeping it to the letter of the law is like justified there. Making that tweet in every situation is completely unprofessional. And like again sends a really bad message about you and your tournament, that like you were really really excited to just completely ruin someone's weekend and make sure that they wasted thousands of dollars, or not thousands but like hundreds of dollars potentially. Honestly, like cross country travel is not cheap. That's
So there was one thing, it may have been just the slight discomfort of seeing those tweets and then this happening after. So Spargo had won the event, and I guess like all the medals, like everyone top 8'd. It was like a huge accomplishment for everyone. This might be a little controversial, but I found that like you're allowed to give them the medal, give them a handshake, whatever, but like if I was on stage and I had just accomplished something like that, like he was like going in for hugs before players even like had a chance to like think about it. And that just like, if that happened to me, I would be like, you know.
Oh, is he like that? This is the same TO that did all this, or
full suited up, and like this is about me, and like, you know, a handshake's fine, whatever, but like don't just like initiate on the hug. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
It might have just been because of the situation too.
Maybe they know every top player there like that. Maybe Rafflefox and Nicola go way back. Or
yeah, maybe. I mean, like it was them and Spargo, and I don't know.
Oh wait, my audio's dying. What's happening?
Wait, what?
It's someone said fix audio.
Wait, is it good? Yo, Tarek, what's good? What's good? Regardless, I think
it's good now. Okay, we're chilling.
The event overall was like so sick. SuperNova, Super Smash Con never fails. There is ATATA. I want to talk about ATATA. Big props to Jeff. He is actually like the okay. I don't care if he doesn't want me to share this, but he was a little nervous to even talk to Gact. He wanted to play with Gact a little bit. They got a few games in, but he was like nervous to initiate with him because he didn't want to like, I don't know, come off weird or whatever. And I told him like, you know, Gact loves that stuff. He would love if you went up to him and talked to him, but like he was nervous for that. And then they played in bracket, and he was destroying Gact. And then, you know, almost reversed 3-0, but Jeff cleared. I'm super proud of him. He like, you know, he fought his GOAT and he won. And even Jazzo, the Jazzo set was like super impressive. You could tell that he had some prep done, or he had, you know, a lot of notes on the matchup, because he would get down tilted on his shield. He jumped out consistently every time. Like he would wait for like 3 down tilts, he would full hop, and it just, you know, yeah,
you wait for the failing.
Abe, I'm glazing right now, bro. Jeff played amazing. And there was one game where, so he did like a basic combo into a tech chase, and Jazzo rolled in and he down aired him. He like nared or something after that, and then he got another tech chase down air, and it just like lasts, like the combo lasts like, I don't know, like 10 whole seconds, and I'm like, he's still going, like he's still doing his combo.
Leave him alone.
Yeah, so that was like so cool to see, and then he just played so well there. And
that's so funny that like he's nervous to talk to Gact. Like, like honestly, like Jeff is not like, Gact's probably better, but like Gact's not that much better than Jeff. Like, yeah, Jeff's really good. He might have what did Gact place this tournament? Like,
he got 33rd.
Jeff plays better than him.
Yeah,
and Gact just has that much aura that like even the other Nest top players are just like, oh, what do you? I don't know if I like. This guy wants to talk to me. Like,
yeah, and Jeff is so good at the Ditto too. So
yeah,
it was just, I think it was like a mixture of getting like some good rolls in bracket. Like fighting Ken is definitely like
yeah, that's like a good matchup, and I think Jeff's pretty good at it. Like,
yeah, and you could tell like when Jeff was done, he'd have like a heater set, like super close, and he'd just be so chill. Like he kept the lid on it like super well.
For my SmashCon run went great. While SmashCon was happening, I got 1st and 2nd place at 2 tournaments. Yeah, so like I had a great SmashCon.
Mm-hmm.
I could say that the weekend of SmashCon I got 1st place. Now, I'm not gonna elaborate on, you know, but I had a probably, you know, some better placings than at least most of the people at SmashCon.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
there is okay. So I want to mention that Jeff fought Apollo Kage, and no, his set before that he fought Dominator, and he was down like 2, or no, it was game 5, I think. Dominator went for a back air edge guard. Like it was swinging heavily in Dominator's favor, like momentum and stuff. Jeff was at high percent. Dominator's like 30 or 40. Dominator goes out for a back air, and Jeff hits the ATATA, just down airs him. Like cheesed him so hard.
I feel like it's like a very Snake player thing to do, and I feel like Jeff hits that all the time.
Yep, he hit that so many times against good players. And so yeah, he beat Dominator, beat Apollo Kage. Apollo Kage went Steve, and it was not
Oh wow.
close.
Yeah.
And yeah, his run was really good. But the other thing I want to talk about is Sonix Snow. Snow is the last top player that I would expect to beat Sonix.
Mario, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He timed him out to win.
This is really funny because you remember in Smash 4, like the era of like Mario Sonic was like the bad matchup for Mario. It was like the worst one. But like I remember Ally, now redacted, winning that so many times over all of the Sonics. But it was always exactly like that. He would win it by like timeout or almost timeout, and like him hitting like a last second like Mario forward air in like the last 5 seconds of the set. Like every single, like I feel like it's always been a bad matchup, but the Marios somehow just always like find a way to pull it out, and it's always like that. Which I wish I got to like see like the actual set itself, because I think watching the people who managed to beat Sonic in like their objectively bad matchups is really instructive for everybody. Because like as someone who's like maybe like a better matchup against Sonic and I'm still losing it sometimes, right? Like how does some character without my mobility even make this happen?
Yeah.
Right. Like how is it even possible? Because they have to like play so much more precisely than me or something like that, right?
For sure.
So I love watching sets like that, even if they don't involve my character, because I think they're super instructional on like how to dismantle like a really broken character in a tough matchup.
Yeah. I think Snow is like, yeah, Snow is definitely him. Yeah, I like there's not even, I didn't even watch the set. I just watched like the last little bit of game 4 where it went to timeout, and you could tell Sonic's like when he loses, or like when he lost that set, he was just like mad at, like you could tell he was mad at how he played.
Yeah.
Like he was just like disappointed, and he wasn't like raging or anything. Like he knew he was capable.
He always has a very unique look of disgust whenever he loses.
Yeah.
Which is like the way he like probably like views the game, and like probably like right, like his head got to be huge, right? Like which it absolutely should be. Like bro is like, he thinks he's like probably the best player in the world, and he has a really good argument for it. You know, so like I feel like when he thinks he's like the best player in the world and also playing the best character in the game and generally playing like favorable matchups and stuff, like I feel like he's like always like every time he loses, like, man, how did I even let that slit from me? How is that even like a chance? And yeah, I don't know. That's always like the vibe I got from like whenever he loses, which I think is like totally valid. When you're that good, you can feel like you lost every single match because it had nothing to do with your opponent. You just could have been better.
Yeah.
Like
there was a lot of pop-offs too. Like you could tell that a lot of the, not even like top, it was probably like top 24 sets actually. Like people just wanted to beat like specifically that opponent they had to fight. Like they had some history. I know like Raru and Snow, it was like the same exact thing. Raru was lit when he won that, which I don't even know how that matchup goes. I
was actually about to ask, how did Raru get the semis? Because like I mean, like Raru's obviously insanely good. I remember that one Japanese tournament where he got second, I think, to Akola. And like so, like it's not like surprising me to see him there, but I just had no idea what his run was. So it's like Snow was one of the players.
Yeah, he beat Conga. This is phase 2, so Conga into Antimony.
Palu, I think, or Steve. Oh yeah, Steve. Yeah.
Is it Connecticut or Massachusetts or something? I don't know.
Yeah, I know the player. Yeah.
Yeah, so beat them into Apollo Kage game 5. Into Cola game 5, into Shuton game 5 for top 24. Yeah, that's
okay. That's a legit run.
Then Snow, and then lost to Shattuck in winners.
Gotcha.
But yeah, super impressive. Like, you know, Luigi, Japanese Luigi.
I will say, knowing that when I heard that Miya lost to Mars, I was really like hoping, like from the players I knew that were in quarters, I was so hoping that Hurt and Mars would get the play. Seeing that he got Spargo first, I was like, no.
That does
like
suck.
A Hurt Mars set would go so hard. Because I think Mars is like so good against Snake. and particularly at killing Snake. And I think Hurt is so good at surviving.
Yeah.
I think like someone might have brought it up to me, whereas like all the snakes, like the best snakes, are really good at just blowing you up in one hit. Like they all can do that to a certain extent. I think there's a couple things that like offensively Hurt does a little bit better than other players. Like I think has some insane call outs with like up tilts and stuff like that. Like he's really good at like catching like weird rolls and situations where like people didn't think they were in danger for something, but they were. But I think the real thing that separates Hurt from every other top Snake player is where other top Snake players would die, Hurt finds a way to live.
Yeah.
And I think Mars in particular, whenever he fights Snake, is really good at the killing Snake part. And so seeing the kind of survival shenanigans Hurt would have to pull off to just not get completely nuked by Mars every single time, would have been a very entertaining set, I think, to watch.
I agree.
I just think Zero Suit Snake is always just a banger matchup anyway. I love watching Zero Suit Snake. I love playing Zero Suit Snake. I know you're not as big of a fan, but
I'm gonna put some time into it, so hopefully it'll be more fun. Yeah. But there was one point where Hurt did. It was like between stocks. It was like so random. I don't know why he did it. He runs off stage and like B reverse throws a grenade and then like air dodges into it and then just techs the ceiling and then just goes to ledge. Like I don't know why he did it.
There was a game where it might be the exact same moment where he like air dodged to ledge like he was going to ledge, but with a grenade.
Oh,
in his
maybe
hand.
That's what it was.
He like missed, and I was like, oh, he missed his air dodge, and I was like, wait, he has the nade in his hand, and then he blew it up and teched and then grabbed ledge anyway.
Maybe, yeah.
And I was like,
yeah.
I think in the moment he was worried about getting two framed, and I was like, that's such a like tricky way to avoid that. That's like really like. I think it was because that's the only Hurt. It was the only Hurt set that I got to watch all the way through.
Yeah.
I got to see the one clip of him and Zomba. That was insane.
Oh yeah, he did not deserve to win that. This could have been a completely different tournament had Zomba fought Mars. Well,
yeah.
No, it wouldn't have been.
Well, no, it would have changed.
He would have fought Spargo, and that would have been pretty interesting. But didn't happen. Did you hear his Smashies speech?
I did not. I missed all the Smashy stuff.
He was just like, this tournament is gonna be good for people who want to see, or I don't. He was just gassing himself up. He was very confident.
Oh yeah,
typical.
Yeah, I mean, as he is.
Yeah.
Which like a lot of people give like Zomba like some crap for being like arrogant like that. But again, like when you're at a certain level of play, like he won Genesis.
Yeah.
He kind of he's allowed to think he's him. He kind of is. Like there's probably a couple more people that are more him there, but like
he's definitely capable.
Like if Sonix wants to talk shit back to any shit that Zomba's saying, he probably can, but that's not for people like us to judge. I can't. Yeah. If Zomba wants to talk shit, what am I gonna say about it? Dude?
Yeah, he's just in that level where like nobody's safe from like losing to Zomba. He could definitely beat anyone, and I think that leads well into. Did you see Mars's pop off after beating Onin?
I did not. I saw the picture.
Yeah, he just yelled. He's like, "I'm the best," and he just said that like 3 times. And that's cool though. Like
that's passion.
That dude's working hard for what he accomplished. Especially
he goes to one tournament a year and then just like fucks everybody up and then leaves.
That just does not make sense to me. Like he'll go to other tournaments here and there. He'll get like 33rd, and then he'll just like top 8ing SmashCon last year and then 9th at this one. He's secured his top 40-30 spot on the next rankings.
Hopefully he's going for another 33rd. Did he actually get ranked 33rd? I think he was one off of it, right? I think there was like a ranking he got 34th and everyone was so disappointed.
Yeah, well he was seeded 33rd.
Yeah,
which was funny.
They knew what they were doing.
Oh yeah, they definitely did.
Let's
see. Yeah, Sonix, Aquila. I feel like Aquila, low key, like he had to have been exhausted. And
oh yeah,
fighting someone who like I don't know, has he ever beaten Sonix before?
I don't think so, but I will say like a lot of people are like, this is like a Clash of Titans. Like I think they played twice. I don't remember how the second set went, but I vividly remember the first one, and it looked about as bad as that one did too. Like, like, I actually think their first set was even worse. Like, Sonix just really has that number. I actually think, like, from what what I've gathered, I think Onin's probably even better versus Sonic, and Sonix in particular.
Yeah.
Than Akola. I think it's one of like the Onin's like an incredible player, and Akola's like also an incredible player. I think in general it's hard for me to gauge like any spots that Onin has over Akola, but like they're both incredible. It's just Akola's amazing.
Yeah.
And I think one of the areas where Onin like definitely I think has the record to show that he's a little better, like somewhere is in the Sonic matchup in particular.
Yeah. Yeah, he just destroyed Ken.
Yeah. It did not surprise me. Like I don't think Akola just has that down. And I'm sure he'll figure it out. I think there's a good chance we see like Aegis come out in the future for that, the same way he does for Spargo. But yeah, I think it's like it wasn't like everyone's like, oh, this is like really surprising. Like, no, this is kind of like how it's been. Like for the most part, the four horsemen, like the Miya, Akola, Spargo, Sonix, is that the NA horsemen tend to body the Japanese horsemen. The Japanese horsemen just tend to not lose against the field, whereas the NA horsemen sometimes do. Like this is like actually like. Yeah, it wasn't like particularly surprising to me. I think some people were. I didn't get it. It was like
Well, the fact that Sonix, I don't know if Light just had a bad tournament or something, losing to double Sonic, but the fact that Sonix overcame that, like, you could tell. So like Sonic's getting second again at a big tournament. He's losing to different people every single time.
And still another new one, right?
Yeah. Well, I guess Spargo's like, they go back and forth. I love this storyline, but the fact that he's losing to different people, obviously it's like, you don't want to lose, but it's a good thing. Like, he's overcoming the people he's lost to before, which is inspiring. Like, these are people who don't lose, and then Sonix just, like, beats him. Like,
oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think, so I actually have something to bring up. I don't know if it's, I want to hear your thoughts. So, did you see that picture that someone tweeted about like all the Japanese people popping off for everyone in top 8, and then there's Miya sitting there? He's just like chill, or like he looks like a little mad.
I did not see this. You should. I'm really curious though.
Yeah, if I see it, I'll send it to you. But like, how do you think that like he feels? Like, I know that him and Aquila have a rivalry, but you could tell Sonix and Spargo are like. They're like bros. Like they're not like super tight, I don't think, from what we see, but they definitely want each other to do well.
I actually like if we get to talk to Neo again, like sometime soon, it's something I've actually been needing to ask him about it because he's told us a little bit about like Japanese culture, and from what I gathered from what Neo has told me is like in general, a lot of the Japanese top players don't like fuck with each other, like. They don't really mess with each other like that,
Yeah.
And like obviously there's like the story of like Akola and Miya where like Miya was like, yeah, sure, I'll warm like any NA player up with Steve to beat Akola. I want to be the best, right? And that's like there's this like culture in NA where I don't know, we're a little bit more like stick together for each other, I think.
Yeah.
And I think like there's like two different ways like obviously like Miya wants to be the best, so like it's like logically like the best thing to do. I think like Spargo and Sonix have just like played each other so many times where like their sets are incredibly serious, but they're also like not.
Yeah.
If you like, you know what that means, like. Whereas I don't think like the Akola and Miya sets have ever gotten any less serious. Like I think if anything they get more and more intense, like about wanting to beat each other.
Their egos are on the line, where like Spargo and Sonix are like, I guess respectful. Like,
no, like Miya like falling out of his like chair and slamming his head into the table like after that like one set. Like, I was like, that seems like a little over the top, but like then like the YouTube video gets 1 million views the next day or something like that. And, like, if that's like what they're playing with in Japan, maybe I do get it.
Yeah.
like right. Like, NA majors like are lucky. Like this is gonna be the most NA like viewed NA major in a while, and probably a lot of it's gonna be Japanese viewers, right? Like Japan's like scene's just actually just so much bigger than ours at the moment, which is like weird to think about. But like I would love to know the personalities of more of like Japan's top players, because straight up they are running the game right now. And you know, like it's like there's like some NA heroes here and there that I'm still a fan of, but like I'd like to have some Japanese heroes, and not just like based off of, ooh, I like his character, ooh, I like his playstyle.
Yeah.
Like I want to know some things about these people. Like I think it'd be so funny if Asamo talk shit or something.
Oh,
like I want to know.
Like, I think that's why, like, obviously Neo is like a friend at this point.
Yeah.
But like the fact that we saw his personality, it makes him more like
relatable, personable,
exactly,
you know, like
exactly
right, like that's really cool. Like that he was able to cross the language barrier for us, and like
yeah. I think the closest thing, aside from like, you know, seeing the rivalry between like Aquila and Miya, like the emotion involved there, you know, at this event, Yoshidora brought his whole family. I thought like,
really,
yeah, that is like so cool though. Like, and he top 8'd. He beat Aquila.
And he top 8'd.
He really did it. He did it for the fam. And that's super cool.
That's actually just like so sick. The top Japanese ices are chill. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know a ton of the top Japanese Zero Suits. I know they know of me, and I know that at least a couple of them know like. There's like a couple of them that are like the top ZSS like and the top ZSSs and PTs like both like me, and I both like really like them, but like we don't have a lot more to say about each other than like nice combo or something, you know, like right, like
yeah, we gotta start some beef. Hey, you guys suck. Yeah, we have Mars. What do you guys got?
Y'all don't even Zero boost kick like that.
Yeah, your best Zero Suit moved to the US and switched to Game & Watch.
Google Translate go for that. Top Zero Suits is just terrible at talking to each other. Y'all ices like you be interacting like. I think we like the top Zero Suit Discord has like one of the Japanese Zero Suits, and it's like not one of the best ones. And I don't even think they talk like that. Discord's like 90% dead anyway at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like hard to talk to a lot of them. But like I love to like know what's going on there. Like US has so many cool storylines, and like Japan's probably got as many, if not more, at this point. Clearly their scene's a lot more passionate about it, so there's got to be something keeping it going. Like, surely they're not all this excited just because of Steve Game & Watch. Like, you know, like there's got to be some more layers to it.
Yeah. To be clear, I respect the Japanese Zero Suits.
Of course, yeah.
That's not the beef we're starting. You guys are cool.
Like Brave Man standing up. I think the top Japanese Zero Suits are pretty cool.
I think you guys are awesome. I take back what I said 2 seconds ago. I think. Like, character, like... Okay, this weekend, I actually did hear a lot of, I guess, things about the topic of practicing or preparing someone for someone of your character.
Okay.
And...
Did you prepare anyone? I saw you taking a picture with Miya.
You know, Miya's my goat, though. I'm not
okay.
Like that.
To be fair, you can confirm that Miya's been your goat. It's not like it's not some like, you know, you're just like just chilling it out and now you're coming up with a backstory. Miya's been your goat. But no, you didn't. Yeah, I didn't think you did, but I
didn't. So I did. Hold on, let me think this through. Okay. I potentially had to fight a Lucina. An Illusion had to fight Mr. E.
Yep.
And I think from a personal standpoint, I do feel bad like about doing that. But at the same time, who was it that told me if someone loses to someone else who just practiced it for like 30 minutes, like you just weren't good enough to beat them.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's just like it's a real thing, but it's also, you know, I don't know. Mr. E and I, like, we're friends too, though.
I mean, you probably talked to him more than you talked to Illusion too,
yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
like it's like we got nothing against Illusion. I met Illusion a couple times at majors. He's always been chill. He's always been nice.
Yeah,
it's not like I know every Zero Suit like that. It's not like you know every Zero Suit like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like legitimately like nothing wrong with that. It's only like in my opinion like wrong when it's stuff like Miya like
No, we don't talk about that.
individual in your pool DMing me for Wi-Fi games.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, bro, I can't play you. That's my roommate.
Yeah. No, they actually came up to me. Wait, no, who was it? No, okay, I actually didn't even have to fight that person.
Oh, Dana got upset.
So I didn't know what Dana looked like. Okay, and there's a crowd of people behind this person, and I assumed that like Dana just had a hype crowd. And this person sits down. They're like, "Are you cool with PS2 or Small Battlefield or whatever?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's fine." And they're like, "As long as you don't play, Diddy Kong." They're like, "As long as you don't play Diddy Kong." I'm like, "Why Diddy Kong of all characters?" Like, I could be playing Kazuya or Steve or anything.
There's a lot more fucked up characters in PS2 too.
Yeah, and that's the point where I'm like, I don't think this is Dana because I didn't really pay attention to like their set, and then they picked Sora.
Like, oh,
I'm like,
oh,
right,
okay,
it's cool. So I was gonna say if Dana won, I would have been like, yo, I heard you were trying to hit up my boy for practice, and then just like press him a little bit, but I didn't even have to fight him. But yeah.
There's a couple questions in chat we should catch up on.
How'd you do SuperNova? I made it to phase 2 and then I lost. Didn't do super hot. What happened with you at your regional? Give us the TLDR.
I did not attend SuperNova. I was not able to make it out this weekend. I've also been like looking for an opportunity to just get a break from Smash, and so I'm taking it till Riptide. I'm probably gonna start playing again, but I'm not gonna start attending tournaments probably till Riptide, or maybe like a local or two before that, just to, like get back into the swing. But
is it wrong if I go out of my way at Riptide to offer help to someone in path of another rep of my character? No,
I genuinely do not think so.
No.
Like, to me, it's like more important that like, are you guys like really like close friends or something? Like, right? Like, I genuinely don't think it's like that deep. Like I've seen like I like Shu a lot. I have no beef with Shu. And I've seen like Shu warm people up for me, and like that does not like make me feel bad at all. Like I was like, play that, like go ahead, like yeah, right, like that's like go ahead, play them. That's like good, you know, like I think there's no reason why they should she should shoot herself in the foot on her own like development as a player for like someone she like we like know each other, but like not like that, you know, like right, like and so like there's a difference between like again like her warming someone up for me and like me warming someone up for you. Like right, like
so
not everyone can be your boy. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You know?
So when I was playing with Mr. E, it was a rotation like Goblin, Mr. E, and I, and it was right before Mr. E's pool, and you know, them two played, and then Goblin was sitting out, and then Mr. E was like, yo Gob, take this game, he's trying to analyze me, because Illusion was right there. I'm like, yo, that's the strat, I guess. But Mr. E's take on the matchup is very interesting too. He like his combo extensions were really good, like better than last time when we fought. And then he tries to parry a lot. Yeah, he's flashing shield a ton, which I'm not gonna say is like objectively wrong to do because he got mileage out of it, but it's like more risky.
I think it's like the first layer of understanding the Zero Suit matchup. Like you start understanding shields. That's like more like the second layer, where like you understand shielding is strong, but like there's ways to play around shield. But I think like good parrying is stronger, but like it's not quite the end all be all. A lot of people really over index on shield sometimes. Especially I don't think Lucina has to. I think Lucina can be as productive in the matchup by using her dash as she can be using her shield. Like, I'd be more scared of a Lucina that runs at me a lot and then also mixes and parries. And it's not just like run shielding over and over again and waiting for me to just make a mistake. Yeah. Because we don't have to give them that mistake.
Yeah, so when I was money matching, so you know Toad. You've fought Toad before, right?
Yeah, the Toad's incredible.
Yeah, so I sat down. I didn't know it was Toad, and I was practicing Aegis a little bit. I played them in like 2 money matches. So I was down 2-1, and then I switched to Zero Suit just because, like, I'm not trying to lose $5. And I was also playing really, really hot, and he was doing the thing where he would just hold shield. And like hold shield through Nair jab. And from a improvement standpoint, I was like locked in on getting better at dealing with that, so I would just not interact, change my shield pressure. I just played it like super well, which is like exactly what we talked about that one episode. If you're trying to figure out how to deal with shields, go back. What was that, episode 1 or episode 2? That was episode 2.
I think it was episode 2. I think episode like 1 we didn't even have like a topic. I think we were just winging it. Yeah,
I'm down for more matches for. But yeah, it was very productive, and there's actually a couple guys. This is a more like less of a serious thing that happened, but I was going to this setup, and then there was like 3 guys walking over to it, and I'm like, oh, like you're trying to get the setup, my fault, and they're like, do you want to play for it? And you know, my ego's pretty high right now. I'm playing hot. So I sit down, and I thought they were gonna be like, you know, let's play for it because I think I'm better. That's the vibe I got. Yeah. And then we sit down, we're putting in our tags, and the one guy's like, yeah, this is our first like tournament ever. I'm like, oh.
Now you feel like the bad guy.
Yeah, I feel bad now. So I played him, and you know, like you could tell they knew how to play the game, but like they were all like hype about what I was doing. Like I would just like Nair flip kick them, and they're like, oh my gosh, that was crazy. And I was just trying to style a little bit, show them, you know, make it fun. So I played all of them, and then we were talking, and they like watch Melee, but they play Ultimate, and I'm trying to tell them like, like I want to make sure they had a good experience, but it was
making a Melee player's first like interaction with the game Zero Suit is actually a great idea.
Yeah,
I think Melee players would love Zero Suit. That's sick as hell.
yeah, but no, I ended up like we got done playing, and the one guy played Ness, so you know I had to play Ness. I was showing him just like double jump magnet, and he thought it was so cool. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna be beating all you guys now, because like they're just you know a squad, like just showing up for some fun. But then afterwards, you know, top 8 was about to start, so I'm like, you guys could just have the setup, like as long as you guys have a good time. Come back next year, go to your locals, stuff like that. But
you saving the scene.
Honestly, one friend group at a time. They were just really cool though. Like, you could tell that they were not like the egotistical, like I think I'm good at this game. When I was that guy, like when they asked, I'm like, yeah, I'll play for the setup.
You're like, okay, we got some sweats here, and like, they're just chill. No, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. Very positive experience.
At Collision, I had something similar actually, where I think like a group of like MDVA people, like wanted to money match me, and like the first guy, I forget who like the first guy was, and it's like they were like relatively new, and I kind of like beat the brakes off of them, and I was like, I was like a good time, and I was like talking to him, I was being friendly, and like they were friendly too, and then I'm like sitting back down on the setup, and then he comes back like 5 minutes later with his friend, and it's like, dude, you have to play this guy, like this guy's so good, and like. All right, so I sit down and like I beat this guy too, and then they both run off, and they like find like 3 more people, and they're all like, 2 of them didn't play, but the other guy is like this Ganondorf player.
Oh my!
And they're like, this is like our best guy. You gotta play him. Like, and so like I started like playing the Ganondorf player. He probably was like the best one, but like that's like that matchup, you know, and like they were all I think like relatively new, and like so like the way I was like moving around him too, I was like doing the stuff where like I hit him, I'm like edge canceling off of like the platform with a paralyzer as I go off to like weight bounce edge guard him and stuff. Like I was just doing way too much for the show of it, and they were all losing their minds watching it. It was like the Ganondorf player was losing his mind watching me edge guard him. Like, this is not that exciting, dude. Like, it's
like, when you move quickly, it just looks cool to someone who doesn't know what's going on.
I'm not gonna lie, it looks quickly to someone who does know what's going on.
Yeah,
I think that's just a thing.
I love doing the like runoff tether cancel back air, because you like get like an extended like distance horizontally. I think when I'm hitting that looks sick. Like, because you just get down there so fast. And in Smash 4 it was even cooler. But like instant tether trump. Imagine if we had that, bro.
We would probably be right about where we are, but slightly better.
Yeah. True. But I mean, we have a crawl, which makes sometimes ledge jumping really weird.
Yep. And also we're skinny and a fast faller, which also makes ledge jumping really weird.
Yeah. Don't try and ledge jump Pac-Man, by the way.
Oh yeah, I know for a fact you like Ices has like so many like your Ices in particular, like people who know like a lot about the game barely know what the fuck you're doing with Ice Climbers half of the time.
Yeah.
The people who like don't are probably losing their minds. Like you're like speaking a different language to them, you know?
Yeah.
That's
How likely will you be at next SuperNova? I know I'll most likely be there. And I assume you will too.
Yes. I like SuperNova's not a tournament I miss lightly. Like this is pretty extreme circumstances that I ended up missing it this year. I will definitely try to be back. It would be some pretty crazy circumstances. I will say a likely circumstance, not likely, but a possible circumstance as to why I might not be at SuperNova next year is I'd be at the Pokemon World Championships because they tend to get scheduled pretty close to each other. Last year it was the same weekend.
Where does that happen?
So it changes every year. This year it's in Hawaii. Last year it was in Yokohama. And so it could be a lot of different places. They tend to announce it at like they're gonna announce it at Worlds this year, where next year's Worlds is gonna be. It's like always a pretty big deal. And I don't think I have a ton of chances to make Worlds just because I don't think I'm like the level of player to do it. But I will say my current success rate at gathering championship points is like pretty high. I've been doing like pretty well at these tournaments. Like I'm on pace if I kept winning championship points at the same rates to actually have a chance to go to the Pokemon World Championships next year.
So, how many tournaments do you think you'll be able to go to, like that are reasonably close?
So, where like things are gonna get really skewed, like I actually bet I'm doing pretty well on like the championship points leaderboard at the moment. But that's because I've gone to like a couple locals, and I've won some cups, which are like pretty big deal locals. Like 50 championship points is a lot, so I'm like 112, which is like pretty good. The problem is regionals and especially international challenges are going to be like giant championship point factories, where like you can get like 200 plus championship points for just like day 2ing international championship.
Hey.
Not even winning it, like just day 2ing it, like you can get like 200. And so what a lot of people suspect is anybody who has the funds to travel to 2 international championship points or more and manages to do decent at both of them are probably going to be the people who end up filling up the lower half of the like the leaderboards to get in because they're doing a top 75 as opposed to a threshold. So like, yeah, I'm doing well right now, but it will be very difficult if I don't have some really good regionals, and I probably will only be able to make 2 regionals at the moment. I bet I'll probably be able to make 4. I think that's probably like the realistic estimation. It's just I'll probably like of the ones that we know about, I know I'll only be able to make 2.
Yeah.
And then I'll probably be able to make the North American International Championship international championships, but I doubt I'll be able to go to Europe or Latin America for the international championships there. And I think that's where I probably fall behind. Because at the end of the day, like I'm a decent VGC player. I'm doing pretty well so far. And I bet I could day 2 a couple of these regionals, but like in order for me to lock up a Worlds invite, I would have to either top 4 or like pretty consistently be making it really far. And I don't think I'm that kind of player yet, which is totally okay. But it's like I'm doing really well at a start. Like my start has been really well. I'm on pace.
It's awesome. Yeah, I think you should like low key, like you're making friends through this too. Like you're meeting people. Yeah. Like I know you've been wanting to stream, and Smash can be a little bit like whatever. You should just like start getting people to like join your stream.
Yeah.
Like find.
I was thinking about streaming if you weren't up to doing an episode today. The problem is I've been so busy the last couple of weeks that like even if I streamed today, I'd be like, okay, well now I want to start like a schedule because I'm getting back into streaming.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact I will not be able to stream like Friday or Monday, and I certainly won't be able to stream the days of the week I work.
Yeah.
And so like that's like I'm already going to be like, I'm going to come back for one stream and then automatically be on another hiatus again. So
yeah,
like,
actually,
just because of how busy I am at the moment.
I actually want to run something past chat. So I started doing a little bit of like time management things with the calendar. Definitely shooting to stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday, unless my voice gets worse by Wednesday. I'll be a mute streamer. But definitely Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But I am sticking to prioritizing practice like almost every single day, regardless of if Riptide happens or if First Attack happens. I'm dialing in. So would you guys?
The journey does not end at SmashCon. It keeps going.
Yes. So there is like the points that I could put into creative streams versus like practice streams. Like, would you guys be interested in seeing some like just hardcore practice, I guess? And I know like we could even do a little bit of like discussion like every Monday too, if I have any like issues or like what I work on, if you'd be down for something like that, Steven.
Yeah, of course,
like,
I'd be down.
I'm always asking you questions, but yeah, I definitely want to like grind out stuff, and it's everything too, like mentality, like going to locals. I just want to like organize my thoughts, compartmentalize a little bit. I think that'd be sick. But if you guys are down, I'd probably shoot to do that at least once a week for my stream, and then depending on how that goes, then maybe I'll just stream a lot of my practice sessions. But yeah, okay, you guys seem like you're down. It helps people who are trying to improve. Oh yeah, I would love to also, me and Doorstop talked about this, like being able to narrate things like while they happen. That is one benefit I've found of like streaming my practice, and something I should prioritize more. Like like it would help you guys too. You could see like what's going on, and I could look back and see like what I saw and what I didn't see, like things that I should be paying attention to.
I will say, like, my Smash streams used to be like, I actually think my Smash streams were pretty good besides my technical problems. And I think one of my advantages whenever I talk about Smash, and especially while I like played Smash, I've been thinking for a while I'd be a really good streamer because I'm really good at talking and playing. Like, it's not like difficult for me to articulate that. And I actually, like I was talking about with you, is like I think like that's a very real skill in of itself to be able to like describe like the thoughts in your own head as they are happening, because that like helps like rationalize a lot of the game for you, like to you. It's like I'm not just like silently like clicking buttons into the wind. Like,
yeah,
I'm doing this because of this. I'm doing this because of this. This is like it's like, oh, he did that because of that. Right? It like actually like I think is really really good to like help the improvement process, and I think it will make your brain literally better at like following what is happening in the game even when you are not talking.
Yeah, and I think it's already helped with like I literally practiced for 2 weeks, like consistently for SuperNova, and I felt myself when I was playing like money matches and stuff, I was seeing things and I was able to consciously like make that quick decision without having to like think back. Like it was like an in the moment type thing, which is huge for development, and it can only get better as long as I'm like working on it. So definitely love seeing that in like my own gameplay. And that's another thing I realized about why I play this game. Like obviously competing is something that like we both love winning. We love we love making money, whatever, but like what money we can make, I guess. But
yeah, we don't love money that much. We pick Smash.
Yeah, it's nice. It's definitely a good feeling, but I think what fulfills me the most in playing this game is feeling improvement and overcoming things. And I've talked to people, nobody likes fighting Sonic or Steve, whatever, but when I like overcome something like about a matchup that I struggled with, that is what feels good. Like that is like the journey that I truly enjoy. And we'll see it as I'm practicing, I guess. But yeah, I just wanted to run that by because there's a lot of planning for things that are coming up because time is short always. But yeah,
I think that I don't know. How much more do we have to hit? Like SmashCon has like a ton to talk about in general, but
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like we're kind of wrapping up.
Yeah, I think we pretty much covered most of the like. I mean, there's so many things that happened, but I guess the moral of the story is work harder. That's what we learned from SuperNova.
Andrew was prepping super hard these 2 weeks, and the entire thing I was like really trying to stress on him because I've done this as well. Is like he's prepping for SmashCon, but he's not just prepping for SmashCon. He's prepping for every tournament he goes to in the future because SmashCon is not going to be his last one. Like that's right. And so regardless of how this like weekend went, like it was like just really disappointing for you on the tournament day, I know. And that hurts. Like I like even like knowing that it's like a journey long term, that like in the moment it's always going to hurt so much.
Yeah.
Because it's just like you care, right? Like that's like caring is cool and I don't want you to stop doing that. But also reminding yourself the day before bracket, you were playing all these money matches and you were playing so many of the things that we had spent like the weeks leading up talking to, and you were like applying them really, really well, and you were excited about improving, and that's like that is so productive that you were got the chance to test out new things and it was working, right?
Yeah.
And so SmashCon to me, simply because of that first day, was already a success. And we didn't get the result we wanted yet, but it's not about the result. It is about the journey long term.
Yeah. I guess I didn't really go too deep into like my run, and like obviously I talked about a lot of like the fun stuff, but yeah, I called doorstop, you know, before I played, and it pretty much came down to like, you know, there's always going to be some sort of stress in like the tournament setting, even if you're really good at dealing with it, like it's there. And I haven't really gone to too many tournaments recently, and while like that's something I'm going to be working on, I want to make sure that I'm in peak shape all the time. But the moral of the story that like we came down to was that the weekend was already a success by the time that my poll even started, and I was definitely like really sad like after I lost, knowing like what I'm capable of. And one realization that I hit is that like you could be the best player in the world at so many things, but if you fight the one thing that you're like weak against, or like any of the things that you're weak against, you can lose round 1, you can lose round 2, like no matter who you are. And these people have refined their weaknesses so much, and I'm just in that stage. I think like consistency comes with like recognizing weaknesses, and that's like what this experience was. So productive, also very like definitely like emotional. Like I've never felt like I'm as good as I am now. I just wish I could have showed it, but
yes,
it'll definitely show in the future, and we're very positive. We're gonna stay positive.
Results are never a like straight line upwards. You got better, but that's not going to show in the results yet. It's all a trend. It's a stock market, you know? So you got a lot better. Your trend is going to go up, even if like the this was like a little bit of a down result for you. And I am very excited to see how your work continues to culminate in the future. And it's not stopping at SmashCon, and that makes me very happy that you're getting up and you're working for the next thing and the next thing. And at the end of the day, you're working for the future you at all future tournaments, not just whatever is the current one.
Yeah, I definitely like I've always wanted it really badly, and I think a lot of like the life skills I'm learning right now with just time management and just figuring out how my brain works and dealing with a lot of like routine, like just tasks, like life things that come at me, like, you know, as I learn them, I can now formulate a plan for actually reaching my goal. And like I definitely know I'm capable, and I'm very driven, and it doesn't matter if I stay driven past this week. I'm going to keep grinding and stay disciplined. That's how we're locking in. And I know you're doing the same thing with your own thing.
I'm kind of along for the ride in Pokemon, but
well, I mean, like
I'll be back
on
the ride.
Going to the gym?
Oh yes.
W.
Yes.
Chat, give me some W's for doorstop, because we had a nice conversation the one time. The day before, we're trying to plan our topics. Like
I'm like 2 weeks in of being like the most consistent I've been in my entire life, which I can't let it up now. I have missed a couple days over the weekend. It was pretty crazy. But I'm going. I hit one today. We're gonna keep hitting it.
Yeah,
it's gonna be better. I get in control of my life and not just being a slave to my ADHD impulses.
Yes, that's what we're on right now.
We're fighting back.
I think like the skills that you learn in life and in Smash, like you can work them in with each other. He's doing it with life, and I'm doing it with Smash. So my life will, you know, low-key degrade if I keep just focusing on Smash. But I mean, everything.
I've been there.
Yeah. Everything's definitely gonna come together. I know that you'll be on this grind with me when, you know, if Pokemon takes off, like stick with it. But
dude, Fear's gotten to the point where they start retweeting my Pokemon results.
Let's go.
Maybe they'll actually think it's worth sending me spending some money to send me these tournaments.
Dude, I mean, it would make sense. Like you're still on the team.
I'm still on the team. Like it's
you are representing them no matter where you go. Like what you do. Like.
Dude, if I get on stream at like one of the regionals and I win on stream at one of the regionals, then maybe I'll start talking to him about it. Like, hey, you want to give me some money to send me this next one?
Yeah.
Y'all gonna fly me to Baltimore? But I'm glad y'all are enjoying this. This is I have like viewed I think a lot of this is like kind of like talking about coaching because that's like just in general I think like mindset stuff, coaching stuff. I'm not always the best example of it, but I'm very very passionate about my students and my friends seeing their own journeys in like the best way that they possibly can. I am incredibly invested in Andrew's success, and I want to make sure he doesn't lose sight of it. So, and it always reminds me that like he does the same for me, and I'm very bad about doing it for myself. I can be incredibly down and negative on myself.
Yeah.
And incredibly unmotivated a lot of the time. But I know he's there for me too. So
for sure.
And we're gonna be here for everybody in this chat, and that's why this stream is so sick, and that's why this podcast.
Exactly. If you have anything like, you know, join my Discord. You can even leave some thoughts in there. But one thing is for sure, we will be able to discuss anything you want on here regarding mentality, you know, the game, whatever. Like, at the end of the day, we're all teammates. You know, even if you don't play
it doesn't like maybe we expand the scope into like this is a podcast about competing, you know?
Yeah.
This is, that's we leave like the Zero Suit sphere and maybe we expand into it. We already got a lot of not Zero Suit in here. I think like Smash competing, but I love talking about competing, dude.
Yeah.
I've competed in so many games.
My buddy is he's trying to go pro at golf, and it's a very mental thing. And I talk to him here and there. He has a different perspective on it than I do, like just everything. So we like bounce ideas off each other. It's really cool. So if we go that direction, I think we can
straight up ask him questions, talk to him, like how he like try to get him to explain like what's like the important things to improve. I like have like obviously a lot of my sphere is video games. I've also like played like a lot of baseball and stuff, and everything I've ever touched I've been really serious about getting better at. And there's like so many like general lessons I've learned about competing that I love talking about, but I always love learning about things like in new ways. I love making analogies to people when I coach them, like, oh, I know this person knows like what's like shooters. He like knows Overwatch really well, so I'm gonna give him an analogy in Smash to Overwatch to help him explain things. Because like being able to like cross like generalize like a lot of like concepts, because so many things are really like universal. Like positioning is like something you will find in every competitive game, and I love seeing how like what does positioning look like in Pokemon as opposed to chess, as opposed to Smash, as opposed to a fighting game, as opposed to Overwatch, right? Like, I want to know what positioning is like in golf. I know it for sure is.
Yeah.
Like, right? Like, what?
I actually had a thought before that. I think that's the difference between between memorizing and understanding. Like, I can memorize like where to position, but if I don't know why, like, you can't mold that in any way to adapt. But
it's gotta know. You can't just copy and paste.
Yeah. But I know that golf, there's like so many different factors. Like obviously the way you swing is like per club, and then per positioning. Like what, you know, are you in the fairway? Are you in the rough? In the sand? And then there's also like, you know, trees and stuff. You gotta cut your shot. You gotta fade, whatever. And there's so many like small things, and you only have you have to execute basically perfect in that game, like in golf. I think so. The one thing, the last thing that we talked about was like identity in your own game. And like my buddy was playing golf, he was trying to emulate something that did not suit him, and he almost had to like take a step back and like be confident in what works for you. And I had talked to Toast about that a while ago, and he always said, he's like, don't try and be someone else. You could take things, but you know, at the end of the day, you are your own player. So be yourself.
I think any healthy competitive game should always, like, if a game is competitively healthy, there should be more than one way to solve a problem. There should be multiple ways to solve like problems, and someone's problem solving approach can be valuable, and there's always lessons to be gathered from it, but it doesn't have to be your approach just because it's working for someone else. I play Smash because and I played Zero Suit because, like, you know, like for all of our problems or whatever, like currently, like I'm never gonna stop playing here because there's so many things that I am the best player in the world at just on my Zero Suit, and that's so sick to me, right? Like, and I don't want to stop like leaning into those things that make me unique, because that's like really, like, for one thing, it's like cool to me. It's why I play, to be able to say that like I'm the Zero Suit that does this. I can watch my own gameplay and know it's my own gameplay based off of like just like little things that I'm doing, right, without like any name or any help or skin to give it away or something like that. That's always really, really cool to me. But also, like, for people who like try to emulate me a lot, like a lot of people like, yeah, like you approach this like this way, and it's like, this works for me because I'm really uniquely good at scrapping up close in a way that I probably shouldn't, or something, right? And it's really hard for people to learn how to scrap like I do, without like that having been their entire approach to Zero Suit their entire life. And that might not be the way that they want to play the game. Most people don't pick Zero Suit because they want to pick fights like that. And that's like it helps me in some areas, it hurts me in some others. And it does, if it doesn't work for you, then like there's other ways to play Zero Suit to approach that, right? Like, and always like understanding like, okay, they solve it this way, and there's like some things I can gather from that. Like, if I do find myself in the situation, Doorstop would probably do this, but I probably just shouldn't find myself in the situation in general because it's not where I'm strong. And that's fine. I have another way to take this approach. And yeah, I think that that shit is so sick. I love how like two incredible generational talents who are playing like the same character can look nothing alike. And they just like have two completely different approaches. I think golf's obviously, I'm sure, one of those games, so that's the thing. And I always love seeing how other games, what like things like identity and variation, like how they look different. How do I know like Onan from Akola in golf, right? Like like I can tell like certain ways in the way like Akola like moves and builds or something like that. Like, yeah, this is Akola on game 5, whereas like Onan using a lot more normals or something like that, right? Like, I want to know what does that look like in golf. And I get so passionate about all this stuff. I love talking about that.
I think it is really interesting. And again, like, if you understand like that level of depth, then you can do like, your decision making is not linear. Like, you can express so many different like ways of, like, one thing for someone else might be like, you could just make it so many different, like, I don't know, different interactions, I guess. But yeah, I think that is like super interesting. Have you ever read any sports psychology books?
I have not, but I should. Like, I literally have the Inner Game of Tennis like sitting on my desk, and I need to read it.
Let's do a book club Mondays.
Book club Monday.
You'd finish a book in a week, and I'd still be on chapter 2.
I do be speedrunning books. I haven't had a ton of time. I've been rereading a huge series from my favorite author because I'm going to. So these are like 1,300 page books and stuff like that. They're massive books. They're my favorite books in the entire world. I love them so much. If you ever see my in-game tags, they're references to those books. And I'm rereading them because I'm like really excited about the release of the 5th one. It's a series that's coming out, and like the 4th book's out and the 5th book's coming out.
Wait, what is
it? It's called the Stormlight Archives.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely mentioned them to you before. And my there's a convention happening. My favorite author has like a convention for all of his books happening in Utah, and I'm going this year, and it's going to be huge. Like, the tickets sold out like overnight, like in the first day. It was crazy. Because it's like going to be like, it's always a big deal every year, but this year is like his biggest book series is getting the concluding book, and I want to be there for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to reread the series leading up to it, so I'm like as fresh as everything.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be happening sometime in November.
That'll be sick.
I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to it a lot.
Mm-hmm. I guess like we had a lot to talk about, and I think we even just opened the door for like even more for next time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this was a fun one. I really enjoyed talking about this kind of stuff.
A Zero Suit had a really good run, and they've also expressed interest in maybe being on here before, and then maybe we get him on in the next couple week or two. Can't make any promises on it.
Yes,
but,
yes. Hopefully we can make something work.
Hopefully.
But yeah, that was definitely a fun episode to talk about, and thank you guys for joining. Are there any final questions or comments or anything you guys have?
Yeah, it says your guys' turn. Talk to us. What we got?
Yeah. Let us know in the comments if you're on YouTube. You want to start looking for someone to raid?
Oh, we should. Next episode when? It'll probably be Monday. I don't know if next week Monday we'll be able to do a live podcast. That'd be really cool. Because I will be I'll be over next weekend. But there's a chance I might have to leave early Monday morning, so that might not work out.
If you do have to do that, we can even run like Sunday or anything. I mean, we'll be making content.
Yeah, I think like next week Monday, if it can't happen Monday, we should just like do it when I get home.
Okay, that works.
But the 2 weekends from that, when I'm back again, we should for sure do it in the house, like no matter what.
Let's
I
go.
think that's the best approach.
I'm down for that. Nerf CSS, what are you on right now?
What's the nerf? What's left?
Just take her off the character select screen. That's what we have left.
This is insane hating.
You can't come into the Zero Suit podcast and say nerf Zero Suit.
How do you deal with people who are circle camping you? Just throwing projectiles. So if it's like, I'm imagining like a character that's circle camping you is probably something like Young Link. We don't have a ton of time for an extensive answer, but Zero Suit's really good at covering vertical. So like at some point in the circle, they got to go above you if they're circle camping you. The moment they go above you, that's when you intercept them, because you have way better hitboxes. It challenges any character that's going to be thinking about trying that. It's generally a very bad strategy against Zero Suit because of that. So yeah, just stay up high and try to abuse anyone for playing like that against you.
Jay Yeezy is streaming right now. And so is Icon.
He's streaming Smash?
Those are our two options. Or Aaron, if we want to.
We should for sure give it to Icon.
Right.
For sure. We'll get a Jay-Z next time, but we haven't streamed Icon, like giving it to Icon yet. And Icon's one of the goats. He's one of the people I'm so sure we're going to have on here at some point.
Oh yeah. We just need to start planning better. It's not even like for any reason. We just
we just be like, oh yeah, it is Monday. We should do this again. we should probably make a plan here. Have something to say, but
it's Icon MS1. Yeah, stay for the raid. We got to give Icon some love. But thank you guys for being here. This was a very fun episode. And, hey, also, if you're still here, like and comment on the YouTube video when it comes out, just so we can hit the algo.
Yeah.
And it'll give us more things to talk about, because people will be like, oh, why are you trash talking my favorite Japanese Zero Suit player? And I'll be like,
yeah, start some discourse.
Because we're better, that's why.
Exactly. Yeah, without a doubt. Be problematic. Any region you'd like to hit up someday? Anything international, but I actually really want to go to Pacific Northwest. I hear it's beautiful. Like Vancouver or something like that. I hear it's beautiful, and I've somehow never been. It's like the only corner of North America I haven't somehow found myself in yet. So like PNW is actually like my first answer, but also like obviously anywhere international I think would be really cool.
Okay, I started the raid, so we have to go.
All right.
Thank you guys. See you next week.
See ya.
All right, we got it.